So then my mum walked in. And she's like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I told her. She's like, "Is this why I cried?" Like, sometimes I'm even sorry that I'm upset.
Yeah,
like,
you feel guilty.
Just stop crying
Yeah.
for a sec.
Yeah.
I know it would like blow up into this thing of like I'm grateful.
Your cousins back home have some of them like they don't even have light. Like this. Sorry.
Like I'm just in pain, and I'd like someone to validate my experience.
Welcome to the Voices of the First Daughter, where we'll be speaking on intimate topics and just being very open about our experiences and what we want everybody to know that we go through. Here we have
Sonia.
Edna. Natasha.
Right. Who wants to pick first?
I'll pick. Okay. Do you feel like your family knows you, like really knows you?
That's a great question.
That's a good question.
No, yes and no. I feel like they know the part of me that they created.
Yeah.
Like they know the part of me that meets their expectation, that sucks it up, that gets things done, that is on call whenever I'm needed. But they don't know the part of me that has probably been through like dark times and I've kept it to myself, or like just other aspirations that I have that are not necessarily tying in with their expectations of me. That part you kind of just keep to yourself because, you know, number one, you don't want anybody to like discourage you. And number two, you also don't want to feel like a disappointment. Like, oh, so you really want to do that? Like, why don't you do this? And you already hear enough of that. Yeah. So for me, it's just like, okay, I'll just like kind of keep this hobby to myself. And I feel like those little hobbies that you have that you keep to yourself really just kind of show that inner child that you never really like let out.
Yeah.
So I would say that's the part like they don't know about me. Like they know the parts of me that they expect. I would say, yeah.
And I feel like sometimes it's like they're kind of in denial. Like
Yeah.
they choose what they want to see, and then they're like, "You're this, and they keep telling you, and it kind of manipulates you into thinking maybe I am.
Yeah.
But then you're like, I don't think so, and it's like a whole journey to navigate through that as well.
I think it's like pretty sad that like they have some form of character in their head that you have to like play along.
Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't allow you to be human and make your own mistakes because in a sense it's like you have to be perfect, you have to do things the way they expect it to be. And that's a lot of pressure to carry, especially as a child. And as you're growing up, like you're bound to make mistakes. Like they've made mistakes of their own. And sometimes I feel like it's a lot of projection because like you probably made your own mistakes when you were younger and now you're projecting on me and you don't want me to even like understand my own mistakes and make them on my own, you know? So you tend to even like hide those parts of yourselves because you're so embarrassed. You don't want to like disappoint them. You don't want them to think that they raised someone that like they don't know, if that makes sense. It's really disheartening, like genuinely speaking. Yeah, that's all I would say.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask a question when you mentioned that growing up you were argumentative with your mom. How did you navigate that? Because I think my experience was different. Like being a firstborn, you were told what to do and there isn't room to argue. So you just take it as it is and you get it done.
I think I was quite argumentative because like naturally I don't like being told what to do anyways. Like I don't like being told what to do. And I think also because for 10 years almost I was an only child. So kind of like the transition of like completely being like an only child to then almost being a second parent. It was like, okay, like no, like I'm like come on type of thing, right? So like as I like in my teenage years, like we used to like me and my mom come like the house combative, like yeah. And I just I don't feel like I navigated anything. I feel like I'm still that way today.
Right.
Like we still like go head to head, like, and I think a lot of it comes from I I don't like because what I'm being told to do is what she would have done in her life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, but I'm not you. Like I'm my own person. Like I don't want to do these things. Like I'm not you. And like parents always like to say something like, "Oh, I know my child," and da, 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 da. It's like, no, you don't. Like if I tell you how much you don't know, you will really be shocked.
Yeah.
Right. So I think for me, I just always wanted to stand my ground. Like it's my life. Like, and I think it probably got worse like as I got older because like now I'm an adult. Like I'm actually an adult. Like you can't force me to live a life for you. So I just started to like the word boundaries, like it is it's not in her dictionary. I don't think it's in any African parents dictionary. I don't know what it's like for like in Chinese, like there's no such thing as boundaries. Yeah, like they don't understand it, right? But I just put my foot down. Like I'm like, I'm sorry. Like I'm sorry. I just have to. Yeah. I was also gonna ask why do we feel like we can't say like the painful stuff to them? Like why do we feel like when we're hurting, like we can't express that to them? Why do we feel like when we're sad we can't go to them? Like, do you ever wonder why?
Because like most of the times when you do tell them, you're hit with the fact that they've been through way worse things.
Yeah.
So like why are you complaining? And like this is like such a cliche thing, but like you have food, you have like a roof over your head, you have everything. Sometimes they even bring their own traumas, which are very valid, but like I'm also experiencing pain.
Yeah.
And you've basically like invalidated my experiences by saying that your experiences are more important than mine.
Yeah.
Because like it's genuinely so sad. Like it's genuinely so sad because there are times where I've felt like because you don't usually have a place to go, you know. Your parents are the first people that are meant to protect you. They're meant to be your safe space. And when you don't even have that, and you're the eldest daughter, you can't even talk to your siblings. You can't dump that on them. They're too young, innocent. Like you really then start to like build that up, and it's so painful. Like there are times where I've genuinely thought like, damn, like my mom is in the next room. Like I really want to tell her this thing, but like I know it would like blow up into this thing of like I'm ungrateful of some sort, and that's not what I'm trying to say. Like I'm just in pain, and I'd like someone to validate my experience and what I'm going through at the moment. So yeah, like it's genuinely so sad. I feel like once you've been invalidated, then you don't want to go back to that
Ever
space.
again.
Like you genuinely don't.
Yeah, like ever again. I remember this was even like last year. Like I'm somebody that I don't like really in my house anyways, like I'm not a very emotional person. I'm very stonewalled.
Yeah.
Like I'm very much okay, like I'm house manager. We need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. Like I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
So when I do feel a type of way, like I just kind of close my room door, like I just like be on my own. But like I think something happened like sometime last year and I was really upset, like to the point where like my brother came into my room and he was like, okay, like what's wrong? And usually like nobody would notice.
Right.
So then my mum walked in and then like, she was like, oh, what's wrong? I told her, she's like, is this why I cried? And it was like, oh, okay. This is why I don't tell you anything. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's like that lack of emotional availability that they have. And I understand that like they've also been through things and whatnot, right? But it's just they're just repeating the cycle by not like making a space for your daughter to also like want to like open up to you. And that is probably the part where there's a huge disconnect because it's like you're not open emotionally. Like you don't understand feelings. You don't understand like when you're not good, it's okay for you to like dump on me.
Exactly.
but when I'm not good, it's okay. Like you have food on your table.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, it was even worse. Like I born and bred in the UK. Like you live in the UK. Like your cousins back home have some of them. Like they don't even have light. Like this. And it's like. And it's like, okay, sorry, like I have electricity, I have running water, I will be grateful type of thing.
Stop crying for
Yeah.
a
Do
second.
you get what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, okay, sorry, like sometimes I'm even sorry that I'm upset.
Yeah,
Like
you feel guilty.
I feel guilty, and I still carry that with me, till this day. Like I'm actually a grown adult, and I still like when I feel upset, I still feel so bad. Like, why am I upset?
Yeah.
Like, I have shit to do. Like, I don't have like I'd be feeling so guilty. Like, I shouldn't be upset right now. But like it just goes to tell, because like for so long you're told that to suck it up, you're told to be grateful, you're told that your cousins and whatnot back home don't have half of the opportunities that you have, and can't imagine what it's like for international students where it's like, we sent you abroad. Like, yeah, like I can imagine it's crazy.
I can pick the next one. Yeah. Let's see. Is there a moment when you felt like you lost yourself whilst caring for others? I have 3 younger siblings. So as I was growing up, I definitely felt that I didn't get the opportunity to experience my childhood, like just be a child, as I had to take care of them when my parents were away, when they had to work, when they had to travel. So we definitely take on that role as a mother, deputy parent, very early on. And I think even right now, as I'm trying to navigate life, I still am expected to be there for my siblings if they're facing challenges at school, for example. They come to me with their issues, and I'm also trying to navigate life as an adult, and I'm still trying to find myself. But I guess there's that expectation that as the older sibling, you're just supposed to figure things out on your own, and you know where you're headed. And your younger siblings that are lost and they need support, they're coming to you, but you're like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing either, and I need that support. So sometimes I still feel, lost in my adult life, and I think having support would go a long way. But then it's also a question of, who do I go to when I need support? Because everyone is coming to me for support. Not only my siblings, but also my parents as well, in relation to like raising my siblings. And I'm in a position where I'm like, okay, you're supposed to be the parents. Why are you coming to me with these issues? So I'd say part of my childhood and now as an adult as well.
Yeah, I think for me, my whole life was that moment of trying to like figure out like who I am in that aspect. I think because like since I can read, like my family does not really speak English, so I have to translate everything. Every doctor's appointment, I signed my own field trip forms when I was 7. And like I would also have to sign my siblings and do like pay for their tuition fee, like obviously not my money, but like I would have to organize it and sign the papers. And I feel like even to this day, like my mom's still like, oh, your grandma needs to do this, can you go and translate for her? And like now that I'm older, I'm more busy, right? So it's like really hard to, I guess, like take care of these people that depend so much on me. And it's actually funny because I was talking to my counselor one time, and I was like, why do I not, like, I love kids. Since I was a little kid, like I would take care of my sister. Yeah, and then out of like my friends started talking about like I can't wait to have my own kids and da da da, and I was like, yeah, same. But then no, right? And then I was like deep down, I was like, wait, I thought I wanted kids, but I don't feel that excitement. And then so my counselor, like after a few sessions, she was saying like, maybe it's because you already took on that parent role since you were young, and you basically were a parent for like 18 years already. So you're like, you did your part, like, you know, you lived that part of your life. And I was like, that's so sad, because I think I do, deep down, I think I do really want kids. It's just, I'm like, it's so sad that I have to like wait for that feeling to come back. And I'm hoping it comes back, you know? And yeah, also like my mom's like a single mother, and sometimes I just feel like I'm her husband. And like it's like yesterday my sister like went on like this whole thing, and she like ran away for a sec, and my mom's like calling me, she's like, she's not picking up my calls, can you call her? And so I had to deal with that, and I'm like just trying to sleep, you know? And it's like I don't want to leave her to do it herself either, because you know, single parent, very difficult. But it's also like the pressure is like, it's not my child, like I really couldn't care less sometimes. Yeah.
Definitely agree with
Yeah.
that.
And I feel like now it's like to the point where I have to distance myself emotionally, just to kind of at least try to balance it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you hit the nail on the head with the like not wanting kids thing. And like sometimes I joke around, like I kind of like tease it into conversation with my mom. Like she'll be like, yeah, you know, like in like 3-4 years, child. I'm like, what if I don't want kids? Like I'm telling her, like I just be prepping her a little bit, like be ready for me to say I don't. And like it's because like I have been parenting for as long as I can remember. And like it's kind of what you said, like my mom is a single mom too. And there's also like that reliance. Like I remember a couple of months ago, like my little sister went missing. She didn't go missing, she just went to her friend's house and didn't tell anybody, right? And my brother was calling me, like, bearing in mind I don't live in the same country as them anymore. Like they're all like back in London, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, you know, Gemma's missing, like my mom was calling me like, oh my gosh, like mom is so worried, mom told her to wait here, and then she went, I'm like, what do you want me to do? Like I live 10,000 miles away from you, like what am I supposed to do? But I'm still like that first point of call, that first point of contact. Or like yesterday, like he texted me like, oh my gosh, like mom and they're arguing, and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I feel like it sucks because it's like it's gotten us to the point where we feel like, can I swear?
Yeah.
It's like it makes us look like bitches.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we don't care anymore. It's because I think like we maybe like are reaching the mental capacity of how much of this we can take. And so like people, like all my friends, like, why don't you care? I'm like, I can't care. If I care, send me to the psych ward. Like I, you know, like this is like the last thing. Like I can't care too much. And so it's like, it's so like, yeah, like I don't want to be known as the bitch, but I need to protect myself somehow.
I'm gonna wrap this up, but we will have a part 2. So make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, so you can have these beautiful ladies back on your screen. Thank you.